as you guys know, there's a lot of things going on in Washington. The impeachment investigations dominating the news so much that sometimes we forget about other stories that are just as important. Like there's children still caged at the border, and there's still mass shootings that people are trying to grapple with, which brings me to Parkland. If you remember, 17 kids losing their lives in that mass shooting on Valentine's Day in 2018. And our next guest are Tom and Gena Hoyer, their son Luke. How are you doing? We're so happy that you're here. Your son Luke was one of those teens. Yes. Yeah. So one of the things I wanna ask you, you know, when you experience something like this, I mean, we haven't gone through this, but we know that grief is not a linear process. How are you guys in this moment, standing with us right now?
You know, we're hanging in there. We're stronger today than we were, a year ago. But I wake up every morning hoping that it's not true. So every day is a new day to learn how to live without our son, which we thought we would never have to deal with. And Luke was our third child and our surprise baby. So we used to sit and I would laugh and go, you know, what would we do without him? And never in my whole life did I think I would have to be living that statement.
Yeah. And the reason you guys are with us today is because you were able to talk to some senators on Capitol Hill, because you guys are with Stand with Parkland, an organization. So if you can just tell us about that.
Yeah, what do you do?
Yeah, sure. So Stand with Parkland is a group of the families, those deceased, those that were killed on Valentine's Day 2018, who've banded together to try and find some common ground to move something forward, right? It's a pretty complex situation for us. There's a lot of things that failed us that day. And there's no simple solution, you know, so we have a set of solutions. And I kind of think of them in terms of like layers of safety. Starts with mental health, you know, mental health screening, really suicide prevention and intervention, because most school shooters are suicidal. A lot of mass shooters are suicidal. Way to get way out in front of it. Another aspect of mental health is being able to share information. Mental health professionals sharing information with the police and the schools, so you can have them talk and assess people. In our situation, this kid was a surprise to us, but we found out later, not a surprise to the school, not a surprise to the police, not a surprise to the mental health, because they knew him and they knew what he was.
So mental health professionals, if they are in their professional judgment treating someone who they believe is homicidal, cannot communicate that to law enforcement? There are obstacles to that?
That's correct. There are obstacles, and they're both real obstacles, and there's a lot of perceived obstacles. HIPAA, which is the medical records law, and then FERPA, which is a school privacy law, which are a little complicated and pretty strict. But a lot of people just take the default position of I won't share any information with anybody on this stuff.
Right. And in Parkland's case, that would have made a difference.
I think that would have made a difference, definitely.
Wow.
So that's the first layer. Second layer, if a kid falls through that layer of protection, next thing is to keep a weapon out of the person's hands, right? So background checks, more robust background checks, not only an expansion to commercial sales, but also elements of mental health. You know, we're just talking about, you know, if a kid is assessed by all three of those professionals as a team, they should be able to report that to the NICS system, so that they want to be able to purchase a gun legally.
Right.
The other one is extreme risk protection orders. So guns are already in the home. It is a great tool for police to go to a judge and get a risk warrant to remove guns from a potentially dangerous situation.
Does that happen much?
It does happen a lot. You know, our governor, Senator Scott at the time, was our governor back then, and he, you know, went against the wave of his party, and among other things, got an extreme risk protection order put in place, and it's been used numerous times. Wow. And it's a very fast process. You know, the guns are taken away, the weapons are taken away, and somebody has on the back end, I think it's within a couple weeks, they have a hearing and they can appeal to have the weapons taken back. But it's before a judge. It's very process oriented, you know, so that nobody's really denied a right there. They can be able to get their weapons back, but you also protect innocent human beings at the same time with that.
Before we go, I want to ask you guys, you know, with the impeachment process dominating the news and the country so polarized, do you think that there's actually going to be change when it comes to the gun violence in our country? You guys are doing a lot of incredible work.
Yeah, we're spending a lot of time up here talking with senators and congressmen, both sides of the aisle. We're a nonpartisan group. You know, this is not a political issue to us at all. You know, Republicans have kids in school, Democrats have, you know, independents have kids in school. So we are hopeful to get some leadership out of the White House on this, because we're going to need it to kind of push this along. And I know that's extraordinarily difficult at this particular moment, but that's what we hope for. So, we've been talking to the White House, we've been talking to, as I said, Republicans and Democrats on both sides of the aisle in both houses. And everybody is interested in helping us. The things we're talking about are pretty middle of the road things, right? It's we're looking for common ground, because if you can't find common ground, we're never going to get anything done. We're never going to get to common ground where we can move something forward, get something done. And we got to get something done. We got to start moving on this, even if even if they're seemingly small things. We got to get moving on this and try to keep our kids and teachers safe in school.
And as you say, this impeachment divides us. This can be something really that unites us, right? Every young person, every student, every family.
Totally.
We don't want this in this country.
That's exactly
The
right.
president says that.
Yeah.
In
Yes.
all the offices we visit, whether it's Republican or Democrats, we all find common ground. We're like, if we could just get them to come together and take action on maybe something small that works. Just like in our case, of the three focuses, school safety, mental health, responsible firearm ownership. If one of those had worked in our case, we wouldn't be before you today.
Yeah. Tom and Gena Hoyer, we appreciate you being with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank
it was
you for
nice
having
meeting
us.
you guys. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank
We
you so
appreciate
much.
it. Yes.
Good luck.
Yes.
Thank you.